Good morning. So today, that is Thursday. The date is 21st of April 2021. The class is for Master in Business Administration, second semester students. The subject is Human Resource Management. And in the last lecture, we have done the demand forecasting in human resource planning. And today we will be doing the supply forecast. Right. All right. Fine. So let's start with it. Supply forecasting. Right. As we have forecasted the demand for human resource, in the same fashion, we have to forecast the supply of personals in the future, so that we may be able to create a match in between the demand and supply, and we should be able to see that whether the supply is equal to demand of the human resource or not. Right. So firstly, we have forecasted the demand for human resource in the human resource planning, followed by the forecast of supply for human resource, for such kind of human resource planning what we need to have in future. Right. Now there are two sources for getting the supply of human resource, and these two sources include: number one, internal sources, meaning hereby you are hiring, you are taking the people within the organization; and second is the external source, meaning hereby you are taking the employee or the personals outside the organization. Okay, so one is the internal source and the second is the external source. Right. But internal supply is more important. Why it is more important? Because it comprises of the employees working in the organization who can be promoted and transferred as and when needed to fill up the jobs when they are following vacant. Right. Moreover, they are your existing employees. They are already trained, they know each and everything about the organization, so they can get absorbed in your on those positions very easily. Right. And but this requires the evaluation of present person's abilities, their skills, weaknesses, etc., in order to determine their suitability for the job in which you are about to post him or her. Right. Now, in order to estimate the internal supply of the personals, it is necessary to conduct human resource audit and prepare replacement chart in advance. For internal supply of labor, it is very much important that you should be having proper audit of your human resource. Moreover, you should be having ready replacement chart, that who can replace whom. Right. It's very necessary in order to have the internal labor supply or to fill the vacancy with internal sources of with internal sources. Right. Now coming down to the next aspect, human resource audit. What is human resource audit? Let us see. Right. Human resource audit is a process in which we do a systematic audit of human resource. Human resource audit is a process in which we are doing systematic audit of the human resource by preparing a skill inventory of the employees. What is skill inventory? We have already discussed. Right. It gives us an ideas of capabilities and potentials of the existing persons who are working with our organization. It will also give you the type of skills need to be acquired or developed for the futures by the employees. Right. Now the next thing is the replacement chart. Right. Replacement chart are meant for listing each key position, indicating time when it is likely to be vacated. right? By replacement chart, it is a diagrammatical representation that which post will be vacant at what point of time, maybe by maybe because of retirement, right? Or maybe because of transfer, maybe because of we are expecting that somebody is going to resign, right? Now it also represents the likely candidate who can replace that person in case when that person leaves the organization, or when the person is ready for promotion, when the person is ready to be promoted. We can easily determine it from the replacement chart that who is the person who can fill in the vacancy if the existing person resigns, retires, or transferred from his position, right? So as and when such vacancy is created, the person may be promoted, and he may be able he may fill that vacant position, right? Replacement chart actually presents clearly who will replace whom, right? Replacement chart gives a clear description diagrammatically that who can replace whom, yeah, who is going to replace whom in case of vacancy, right? In large enterprises, computers are there to record job analysis information and human resource audits, including the replacement summaries, because now this process has gone computerized completely. There are no manual made replacement charts, there is no manual human resource audit, right? Everything is done using softwares. Particularly the most popular modules which are being used nowadays in industry are that of SAP. Most of the time in MNCs, that the what my experience is particularly, right? And although there are certain other softwares which are Oracle based, or rest of the things which are also very popular in the industry, right? Now next is your gap analysis. What is this gap analysis all about? This gap analysis is the analysis in order to identify the gap in between the demand forecast of human resource and the supply forecast of human resource. If there are gaps in the demand forecast or supply forecast of human resource, then what will be happening, right? Now, human resource planners can identify the gaps in between the demand and supply forecast, right? Now, when such comparison is there, we will be able to identify that whether there is any gap in between the demand and supply of the human resource or not, right? In case of deficit, then we have to see, in case if there is deficit, means demand is supply is lesser than demand, right? In such case, what can we do? We can recruit the we can we can recruit the people from outside, where if there are surplus in case of human resource management, we can go for strategies like voluntary retirement and rest of the things, right? Now, gaps may also occurs in terms of knowledge, skills, and aptitudes also, right? So in such a case, we need to train and develop our employee to fill in these gaps, right? Employees which are found to be deficient should be trained with, but employees with higher skills should be given more enriched jobs. Means those employees who are falling in short of skills, they should be trained, and those employees who are already enriched with these skills, they should be given better or more challenging jobs, so that they may be able to utilize their skills in those jobs, right? Further, once human resource gaps are identified, plans should be made to prepare to bridge these gaps so that these gaps may not exist, right? In so the plans in by which we can bridge up the plan by which we can deal with surplus is redeployment of employees to other departments, right, in consultation with the trade unions. If we are having surplus staff, then then in order to utilize that staff, those staff may be transferred to some other departments where they can be used. Right. Now, people may also be persuaded so that they may take voluntary retirement, right, which is known as, in short, VRS. VRS was a scheme which was launched by Government of India, and this scheme was named as Golden Handshake. Why it was known as Golden Handshake, we will be seeing in the later slides, right? Now, if there is deficit of employees, it can be if there is deficit of employees, it can be met through procurement, transfers, promotions, and training of employees, right? Now, coming down to the redeployment or redundancy program, in case if there is surplus of employees, right? If it is estimated that employees are surplus in an organization of a particular category, plans should be made for redeploying such personnel or retrench them. Retrench means to fire them, right? If surplus persons cannot be adjusted in the organization, first efforts are being made to adjust them in some or the other of the department or division of the organization, so that we may not be compelled to expel them out of the organization. So first of all, we should try to absorb them in some other departments of the organization by transferring them. But if this is not possible, right, then they may be retrenched. Now here redeployment include the following measures, right? What is the first measure? Transfer of the personnel from one person to another department, meaning hereby you are transferring the person from the department where there is surplus of persons to the department where there is shortage of persons. This is the first redeployment problem. This is the first redeployment strategy. Now, the second strategy of redeployment, transfer of the employee in some sister concern, right? The third strategy may be launching of ad hoc projects to accommodate certain staff. Ad hoc projects means launching of certain new projects for a particular period of time, so that those employees may be used for that particular period of time. Later on, we will be seeing that where to arrange them, or where to, I mean, transfer them. By that time, situation may be such that some requirement may arise, and we may not be compelled to retrench that particular person, because loss of job is a big thing. So it should be kept as the last option. Retrenchment should be kept as the last option. Now, the fourth method, provide training to surplus personals and offer them placement services, right? Train them with some new skills, with some new technology, so that they may have some better opportunities, maybe in your organization and maybe outside your organization. Right. So these are some of the redeployment strategy by which you can adjust your surplus staff. Right. Now, redundancy redundancy oblique retrenchment program. In this, we have already discussed about one strategy, which is voluntary retirement, right? The government of India at time introduced voluntary retirement scheme with the name of gold golden handshake, right? What was there in golden handshake? This step was initiated by the government in order to deal the problem of surplus staff with different government departments, because many of the government departments were having surplus staff, and because of this surplus staff, it was a liability on them. So the government came up with the scheme of voluntary retirement scheme with the name golden handshake, where the employees were offered retirement before their retiring age along with full benefits, right? This was done in order to meet the problem of overstaffing in the different government organizations, including the national banks, right? The management was providing cash rewards to the employees who were opting for VRS, along with the retirement benefits. That you will be getting all the retirement benefits, but along with that you will also be giving cash benefits, right? So those employees who were interested in taking VRS, many of the employees have gone for this scheme of golden handshake, right? They got the cash reward along with the retiring benefit. The only thing is that they got retired before their retiring age, right? Because of this scheme was known as golden handshake, because it was not only offering the employees the retirement benefit, but also the cash rewards for opting VRS, that is voluntary retirement scheme, right? This has solved the problem of future inventory over the demand for human resources, right? But of course, yes, it was not able to solve the problem of surplus staff completely, but it succeeded in solving the problem of surplus staff only up to an extent, right? VRS, that is the voluntary retirement scheme, was also followed by different private and public sector companies at that time. Even some companies are offering VRS nowadays also, right? Now, job freeze, another method here is job freeze. Now what is happening in the job freeze? As a person leaves the job from various reason, those jobs were remain unfilled, right? Means no further hiring is being made on that vacant position, and that job got freezed, right? The organization do not hire again for that particular job till the time it need to do so, right? It is another strategy to deal with the surplus, to freeze the job. When the person who is working on the job either retire, dies, or resigns, or you have dismissed that particular person, you have freeze that job, means you will not be hiring on that particular job when till the time it is so desired, right? But job freeze job freeze is a strategy which is difficult to implement, right? There are several public sector organizations who have used this strategy, who are using this strategy of job freeze in order to deal with the surplus staff problem in their organization, right? Now, layoff is another method of meeting out the surplus of employees. What is happening in layoff can be temporary, or it can be permanent. Temporary layoff is for a particular period of time, after which you will be re-employing you will be employing again your employee. And permanent layoff means you will not be employing your worker again, right? Temporary layoff is maybe due to the slackness in business, machinery breakdown, power failure, etc. Right? Maybe because of these temporary reasons. Right? Workers are called back after temporary layoff and resume their positions. Right? But permanent layoff is due to liquidation of the company. Right? When the company liquidate, you are permanently laying off your employees. Here, proper human resource planning and leveling the workforce at proper level can help to reduce the effect of permanent layoff, right? So we have seen that layoff are maybe temporary or permanent. Temporary layoff may be due to any of the temporary reasons like machinery breakdown, crisis of fuel, power, etc. But temporary layoff is maybe due to liquidation of the company, and in temporary permanent layoff is maybe due to liquidation of the company. In temporary layoff, the workers may be called back and employed again, but in permanent layoff, the workers will not be employed again. Right. Now, leave of absence without pay. right? Leave of absence without pay, another method of dealing with the surplus employee. Now, what is leave of absence without pay? In this technique, the companies are cutting the labor cost by with the help of the employee. What is happening? It serves as a productive method to help employee prepare for its future plans, right? In this method, what is happening? Some of the public sector companies are following this technique particularly, and in this technique, compulsory retirement, under this scheme, compulsory retirement is there in this program. Management identifying certain employees and discharge them from their service. Management identifies some employees whom they feel they should be retiring, and offering them compulsory retirement. In fact, not offering them, giving them compulsory retirement, that whether it is your retiring age or not, you should be retiring, right? Now, here management is not providing any cash benefit or non-cash benefit to the employees other than retirement benefits. Like in Golden Handshake, the management was providing the employees with cash benefits along with the retiring benefits, but in the compulsory retirement scheme, the management is not providing any kind of cash or non-cash benefit to the employees. Rather, they are giving them compulsory retirement, right? So क्लास ले रहा हूं, एक मिनट. This is the reason this strategy is known as iron handshake, right? Now, the next is guidelines for effective human resource planning, right?